another day at our lovely campus recreation conference. I will give you that. Looks like they're actually working today, which will be exciting. So, I have the privilege of introducing our first speaker this morning, who is Jamie Tolan, the aquatic lead from Mount Royal University, and he'll be doing a session on physical literacy. So Jamie is an avid skier and outdoor who has been working within aquatics for 16 years in both part-time and full-time roles. He currently lives in Calgary and has been working at Mount Royal for the last 5 years. Prior to that, he grew up in Oakville, Ontario, dreaming of one day living in the Rockies. So please help me welcome Jamie.
Thanks, Christine. First, just so I don't think about it the whole time, just gotta get this off my chest. So my hair, okay? A little self-conscious about my hair. In September, I decided I would try to grow it out so I could donate it to cancer. So while I still have actual hair, I could do that. But as the blogs all say, it's in the gross phase right now. That's the nicest way they've put it so far. So I apologize, but now that I've got that off my chest, I'll feel a little better. Usually it's a little bit better well kept. So today I've just got a little quick agenda here. So we'll be going over what is physical literacy really quick. It's been a real hot topic throughout the conference. There's been a lot. I've gone to see a couple. And even in a few of the presentations I didn't think I would see it, it came up as one of those topics. So we'll just go over it real quick. Well, I'll tell you a story about how I became physically literate as well. Do I have any rec majors? Does anyone's degree have the word recreation in it? Now we got a couple. Okay, theory of flow, we'll see this one again. And putting the fun in fundamentals, going back to that physical literacy. Brain science, because I got my boss in here and he loves to hear about it. Then going on to the backward design theory, adapting your programs with a little minimal effort there. Doing it the MRU way, because that's why we're here, to promote what we do at our own places. And then just a couple things to finish it up. So, physical literacy. Does anyone want to try to jump in and tell me what they know about physical literacy? Has anyone heard anything so far this weekend? Anything? Okay, I'm really going to focus right here at the bottom with the active start, the fundamentals, and the learn to train, but kind of taking a different spin on it and looking at our population, so the university students, those who didn't get their active start at the key markers of, the infancy to 2 and 2 to 4 and that 4 to 6 area. So look at this little tyke. Oh, it doesn't come out as well. I've got really sweet Ghostbuster gloves on there, if you can't notice. So that's me at 4 years old, learning how to skate. My parents I was the only boy. So I got a lot of that kind of active, let's just put the boy in the sports. The boy's going to go do all the sports. My 2 sisters, one can be a musician, one can be an artist. But the boy's the athlete. So I was introduced to all types of different things. As a young child, I was told that I was the dog chaser. I would just run, I was up really early, chasing after the dog. So they got rid of the dog. And we ended up... And I ended up being able to do a lot of different sports just because I was the boy. So I started off here with skating lessons and swimming lessons. Got into track and field and some more hockey there as we kind of moved along. And I was always that kid who just liked to be outside and play. So I got a lot of my experience just by playing. I'm sure my parents could realize at a young age I was a little hyperactive. So anytime I wasn't in the house breaking something was a good thing. I did spend a lot of time, throwing things, so eventually I got put into baseball, and where I was able to crush that thing off the tee there, and just really be able to kind of use those skills that I had just picked up naturally playing out in my yard. My sister, who's now a little bit older than me, so just over 30, just found out the other day I'm going to be an uncle, so she's pregnant, so that's really exciting. And she's been kind of struggling with that kind of inactive lifestyle her entire life. She's always been behind a desk. She's a graphic designer. She's an amazing graphic designer, but she's never had that kind of active lifestyle. And we were talking the other day, and it was really exciting for me because I'm like, yeah, I get to use that kind of education that I learned, and my sister will think I'm a big deal now. I was sitting there chatting with her, and I said, the biggest thing you can do is just start doing those little things that we did as kids that you, at the time, didn't want to get sweaty or didn't want to go outside and play and get dirty, so you stood inside. So you really just got to get yourself out there and kind of use those experiences that I had. And that was one of the things that I really liked with Dan's opening keynote introduction there and just saying, hey, like, let's have fun. Like, that's what recreation's about, and really get that fun infused into everything. So I told her, I'm like, if you're going to go outside, just go for a nice walk and then put on your nice tunes and just enjoy yourself in that kind of way that we did as kids and just didn't really think about all the things that we had on our desks. As I got a little older, I got into more competitive sports, and I got really into baseball at the point where I was scouted to go to university and that kind of stuff. Got to play, that's actually in a big tournament in the States when I was 15. And then there is actually one of the life-saving sport competitions there for you, for anyone who was in that presentation yesterday. There's me doing one of the obstacle swims. But the biggest thing was I was given all these opportunities where my sister wasn't. And the biggest thing is I've been able to keep those things going through my entire life. From playing baseball, I've kind of gone into squash, and I really got into that kind of racket sport. Again, it's the hitting, it's the able to make the quick movements and all that kind of stuff. Where my sister is just now learning on to getting into jogging and wanting to do marathons. And that's really exciting for me because, for so long I would go for a run and all my family would be like, you go take the dog, go have fun. Yeah, run around the block a couple of times. Where they would sit at home and be like, he's just running in circles. Like, I just don't get where he's getting this from. He's just running in circles. And for whatever reason, I could do that for hours. And it was one of those things that got me to these higher levels of my sport and in my athletic career, to the point where when I got into university, I showed up on the first day of university and I was like, I'm going to go play baseball. I played baseball. I've been scouted, but not for this university, so I'm going to play baseball. To find my roommate being like, tryouts were like 2 weeks ago? Really? Yeah, there's drop-ins, but they've already played 3 games, so good luck with that, man. Nice to meet you. So instead, I walked onto the swim team and said, hey, I swim. Can I swim? Sure, tryouts are today. Awesome. So I was able to kind of get that high level of training and then into the competition life and really kind of strive in that whole thing, just because my parents did such a good job of just allowing me to have those opportunities. But for someone like my sister, she's now challenged by the fact that she has to go out and find these ways to do it, and it wasn't just that doesn't come easy. And I believe it was in Amy's presentation, Ashley Fox's presentation, is there's that window that you really have the opportunity to get that exponential play in, and that really helps kind of create those lifelong skills that you gain, but you gain kind of subconsciously at a really young age. And once that window closes, it's not that we can't teach old dogs new tricks, it's just that it becomes more difficult and that we have to really tailor ourselves to make sure that we give them those opportunities and that allow them to kind of experiment and play. Sarah, yesterday in the Kappa presentation, did anyone go to the Kappa presentation? Yeah, you were there? Well, it was great because I got thanked in that one, so I'm going to plug it again. They allow the children to kind of have that try of playing, so they don't really have that big curriculum for them, but it's, again, play for kids with special needs and different disabilities. But again, she says, we need to give children the right to try. And that's, again, with the adults, and I really think that we don't allow them to try. We want to shove programming down and be like, once you get to this marker, you get to this marker, you get to this marker, then you'll be successful. But as children, you never have those defined real things. We just allow it over time to kind of develop and have fun with it. So I was a recreation major. I've got the lovely degree that says recreation and leisure. I remember sitting there at 18 years old. Mom, Dad, I've applied for history everywhere, but Brock has this rec and leisure program, so I'm going to apply for that one. Leisure sounds like fun. Sitting there the night before they're due, click the button, leisure it is. All right, here we go. Show up to the first day of class. Brock University, lecture hall of 600 people. Sitting there, all excited, you have that first day buzz. To find this giant chicken walk in the back door. And as she walks down the steps, 600 students completely silent and just turn and follow this chicken. So it walks down the stairs and walks up to the podium. Well, you got to be kidding me. I've just spent all this money for a lecture and I'm going to hear it from a chicken? Okay, I'm university. I'm here. Professor Gilmet stands there and says, hello, this is Intro to Recreation, the bird course, and stands there in front of us. we all have a pretty good laugh, and she says, "So therefore I am the bird course professor, and I would like to show you that, yes, I am the bird course." So we sit there and go through everything, and I still remember that day, and I really reflect on kind of, besides the fact that, yes, she was considering it a bird course and really calling herself out in that way. I don't think it was a bird course. My grades will show that. But her biggest point that really drove home to me is that recreation is fun. You have to be able to have fun even if it is in that academic setting. And we've heard it so many times already this weekend or throughout the conference. Brad in his keynote speech even said as the dream enablers, right? We're there to promote fun and let people have those experiences. And it's really exciting that we've gone through all these presentations so far this weekend, and I've really heard that echo throughout so many that we're here to have fun. Even in our presentations yesterday, we were jumping around with a balloon, popping it around in Ashley's physical literacy thing. And, you know, it's one of those things that we really do infuse that fun. And as I was talking with the guys here in the front row earlier with the life-saving presentation yesterday, it comes down to us as the leaders. It comes down to us promoting that fun. And really, you know, just have the professor on your very first day come in and do that. She also dressed up as a cow for Halloween, which was also quite amusing, having a presentation or an academic class taught to you by a cow. And she will say this, she is also a very bigger lady. So it was one of those things that she's like, I know what I've done. Yes, this is funny to everybody, isn't it? With the udders and everything. Oh, it was great. So it really does show us that we as the facilitators, we are really facilitating fun. But what Dr. Gilmet taught me, and she said, you will always need to remember this. This is the fundamental truth of recreation, is the theory of flow, done by anyone? Anyone still get that point on their exam for saying that name? Mahili, yeah. So I'm going to call him MC Flow from now on. So MC Flow came up with this theory in 1975 in his paper Beyond Boredom, and basically said that for recreation programs, this is what we should be trying to model, is that we're taking the skills of our participants along the bottom here and the challenges up the side of what the action or the activity is going to be. And what we're looking for is to match up those challenges and skills so that you get into this mindset of what he considers flow. I'm just going to read a quick definition here. Is a mental state of operation in which a person is fully immersed in a feeling of energized focus, full involvement and enjoyment in the process of an activity. Now, isn't that what we all want for our participants? Is that idea that you get so lost that you lose track of time and that you're not able to really think about anything else. And I really think that when we talk about with our students that are coming through our doors, this is something they've never experienced. And how can you say, like, oh yeah, you just lose yourself in that? If you've never experienced that active motion where you're just so engaged in that activity, where your every muscle and everything is so into it that you lose track of everything, there's no real way to say it. So this is what we want for everybody, but how do we get them through our doors is one of the things that is such a challenge. They've also considered, he was also added to it, MC Flow, that in 1991 he wrote another article on it, expanding, and considered it the optimal experience. Can we all read our little dude here? Success because you can own this face of pure accomplishment too. Absolutely love this one. This one made me smile the other day. And that's what we really want. We want our participants walking out thinking about what an experience they just had at a fitness class, at something where that's active and good for them. In my experience, I would say the last time I experienced flow was on New Year's Day. I was out skiing at Sunshine. Sun was out. Snow was perfect. Hardly anyone there. Can you really complain? And as I made my turns, one of the biggest things that I get in trouble for on the ski hill is that I leave my wife near at the top, where she likes to go in the trees nice and slow. And that's her way of flow. She just likes to go and do her own thing. But I just like to cruise and just send it all the way down. And I usually turn back up and That's not the face I usually get when I look back up the mountain. But it's one of those things where you know that you're just into it, and it's just one of those experiences that you can't ever forget, and it's one of the best ways that we can kind of explain what we do and what we're trying to accomplish every day. So as another unforgettable experience, and I really love Whistler's tourism tagline this season, is the Whistler Unfiltered. You can just take pictures and pictures and pictures and tag it with this hashtag, and it shows everybody's different experiences within Whistler. And I really like the idea of it because it really does show people and gives you that kind of marketing tool of what flow looks like to other people. So you've got people kind of cruising down the mountain. You've got people afterwards in Merlin's kind of pub house there. You've got all the concerts. You've got all these lights, wildlife, everything you can possibly imagine at Whistler that will create that feeling is being captured under one hashtag. And I think that's a great way that if we're looking for getting our students through it, those are the kind of experiences that you want to show. And I really love what we've been doing at Mount Royal with our YouTube channel and that kind of thing, because there is so many things that you think of and you just read in a brochure and, yeah, it looks like fun, but I don't really get it. But when you have these kind of ways to use social media in such a manner now that you can just have every experience captured in one little hashtag, you can't go wrong. So brain science. And this one's for my boss. So Mr. Chris Daw loves brain science. And I think this is one of the greatest marketing tools that we have at Rec because so many of our students want good grades. That's why they go to university. You want to graduate, you want to get good grades. I often volunteer down on Main Street when we're doing promotions for new students, and I often get, because my office is a little bit further, I'm usually paired with Chris. And the one thing I love about it, though, is the energy that Chris is able to give to the students and really show about brain science. It's not just the message, and we can go through it of all the articles and all the research you'd like. It's there. One of the quotes I found is just a research paper, and exercise of quantitatable activity that improves cognitive in young and aged humans. So for everybody, it does improve your cognitive abilities. So yes, brain science is there. It shows that activities and everything will be better if you do work out beforehand. But the best thing about when Chris is speaking about it is that he has experienced flow. He's in that zone where he's really passionate about what he's talking about and really drives home the message that it's fun. Even though it's, yes, we're going to better your grades, we're going to do all that for you, we're going to relieve stress, we're going to just make you happier. It's also fun. And Chris is in that mode when he's doing it and really has that energy and captures people on Main Street. You can always see the person do the double take and, is he really yelling at me from across the hall? Well, yeah, I'll go over and write on this whiteboard about what I want to do this semester. And it's that capturing and that ability to kind of have fun even in our day-to-day jobs. And I'm sure if you let Chris talk for enough hours about brain science, he would just keep going and miss all those other budget meetings, I'm sure. Because it's way more fun to sit there and kind of promote this stuff. And that's how we get those new students in. It's so hard to get into university these days. I think Dan talked about it in his introduction, that more and more students are giving up that physical activity so that they can work on their studies or go do extra volunteering, which is amazing, don't get me wrong. But they forget that physical activity part. So they really do end up focusing on that academic side. So when they come to us and they don't have anything, it's so hard to explain it. But I think brain science is one of those ways that we can kind of break down that barrier and explain, look, it's been proven, it's research, it's something that you trust that says that if you come to us, you will do better. Taking that 1 hour out of your day, and instead of sitting and cramming an extra hour when you think you can't fit anything more, to get out and to actually do something and get active and restart and generating more cells in your brain, everything helps. And I really think that's one of the biggest tools. If you're not using it, really look it up as a marketing tool, because it's one of those things that's absolutely fantastic and you can't argue with. It's just, to an academic, that's how we're going to break down those barriers, or at least start a conversation where we can explain how much other fun you can now have in recreation. So the backward design theory is something that I've been using for a number of years when I planned my own private lessons when I was an instructor and kind of working through different programs. I really like this because it also touches on what Shelley Freed talked about yesterday about dreams and creating those goals. So often, right now is especially one of those big times for triathlon. People really like to get into triathlons and may not have any experience. Swimming is predominantly one of the ones. And as an aquatic guy, I see it all too often. I've signed up for a triathlon. Is 600 meters far? Because that's what I have to swim in about 3 months. How about that? Is that good? We can try that, right? So they've got this big goal and they've got this dream in their head that they want to be able to do this. But all too often, people see the challenge and you hear that number. Okay, well, 600 meters is 24 lengths. That's a pretty good swim for a continuous swim. So they usually jump in and, okay, I can get my face wet, I can do the doggy paddle, try to get them to doggy paddle 25 meters. Okay, we've got something to work on now. So with the backward design is really taking it with this lofty goal or dream that you want and really breaking it down backwards. So instead of saying, okay, we need to start at the basics and get your face wet and blow your bubbles, and okay, now we'll do a lot of rocket ship glides and that kind of thing. We can take from where they are and really just draw out a plan that goes backwards from that goal. So if you want to have that 600 meter swim, well, you're going to have to do a 500 meter swim, a 400 meter swim, a 200 meter swim, and really work your way up there. But let's draw backwards from that idea of what you want to achieve and really end up working, not scaring them off. Because a 600 meter swim is a long way. But when you break it down into 25 meters and then have this ability to kind of ramp up and really have defined markers, similar to what you would in the physical literacy plan of the training, is really working up to smaller ones and then a little bit bigger, but allowing them to have that chance, like I said earlier, to try. So all too often they want to just be able to do, and they get frustrated when they don't get there. And the biggest thing I try to explain is, why not just, you go off for a couple minutes, try it, I'll be standing right here, and then we can talk about it in a minute. And let them have that ability to try and fail in a safe environment. Obviously, you're not going to stick them in the deep end and say, good luck, we'll see you in 5, if you're still here. You do want to make sure that you are setting them up for success, but having more realistic goals and more realistic kind of markers and not trying to do it all in one shot. So adapting programs. What's he say down here? So I like this one because it also speaks to your brain science, and that it really should be one of those things that we want to talk about and get people into our gyms and into our facilities, even if they don't have any of that physical literacy already. And really thinking about, if you set your goals and work through that, then those are the challenges you want to put. For an adult who comes to me and says, I want to swim a triathlon, well, I'm not going to work on really doing dolphin dives and butterfly or anything like that. We're going to work on attainable goals that's going to help towards their lofty dreams. And with those markers, you're just wanting to make sure that you can achieve something. So even if it's every week, achieving a marker to step on top of, that's always going to help keep them engaged. And that's the hardest thing with adults, is once they find that kind of roadblock, it's all too easy to kind of say, I guess it wasn't for me. I guess as an old dog, this is a trick that I just can't get. But it's not true. It's just that we need to ensure that we are enabling them to come back and give it another try and really allow them to understand that as a failure, it's not a failure, it's a learning opportunity. With ensuring flow, if you get into that spirit where you're having fun and you forget that, oh my gosh, I made it through my entire class, don't think I really learned anything, but I don't know where my last half an hour went, so that was pretty good. That's something that's amazing. That I've had that happen a couple times where, well, I was supposed to leave 15 minutes ago. I've got to go to a meeting for that lunchtime adult swim, and it's like, okay, well, that's great. But they get so involved in what they're doing that even though they don't feel like they're going anywhere, and sometimes swimmers, you can actually go backwards when you don't point your toes correctly. So yes, sometimes they will go backwards, but it's one of those things that as long as you're encouraging them, and as myself, as the coach or the program leader, really having fun myself and really enjoying my own flow in that sense, where I'm able to kind of lose track of time and realize that I've taught for an extra 15 minutes and I'm probably late for a meeting, that's the best thing you can do for your participants. I threw up the I Can Swim program there. It is a link, and it does talk about physical literacy. But the biggest thing I love about the I Can Swim program is it's unlike any other swim program that we currently have right now in the country. And it's one of those programs that there are no real true pass or fails. It's one of these kind of fluid programs that allows you to kind of meet markers and move up once you complete more and more of markers. So they're never going to keep you down in level 2 if you can't get whip kick because, like me, you pigeon toe your feet in and you just can't find a way to get your feet out there. They're going to move you ahead and keep you engaged and keep you in that sense of flow, doing something you can do. So front crawl, I can swim front crawl forever, but do a whip kick, just a big splash and I'm going backwards. So it was one of those programs that allows you to kind of find the success without having that real harsh kind of failure rate. Did anyone do the colored programs when we were growing up swimming lessons? Red Cross colors? Yeah? So I was in red 5 times because I just could not figure out how to get my arms out of the water for front crawl. But in the I Can Swim program, I would have ended up moving on because my endurance was there. And that's one of those things it always makes me laugh as an aquatic programmer now. Failing swim, or it would have been Swim Kids level 4. So doing it the MRU way. Here I am to promote our program. At MRU, one of the lovely things about us is that we are where fun happens on campus, and it's something that we like to talk about. And it is one of those places where you walk through and it's just smiling faces everywhere you go. So the engaging starts as soon as they walk into our facility and that we're greeting them and all that good customer experience stuff. It's one of those things where if you're not getting them through and you've done all the brain science, you've done all the shoulder tapping, you've done everything you can to get new people through, if they get to your gate and no one says anything, it's one of those discouraging events that will have people kind of go back in their little shells. So engaging is one of those things where it's not just about our programs that have to be engaging and make sure that the flow happens throughout the entire activity, but it starts with at your front gate and having people really engaged and have that rapport with people, as well as the intrinsic motivation. People want to have to come on their own, and that's something that I really think Chris does a good job of explaining to people on Main Street when we're out there promoting our programs, is with that brain science and really get people thinking about why they should be coming to recreation and what their whys are. Infusing fun into everything, I think, is a recreation-wide trend. In all of the presentations I went to yesterday, everyone at some point tried to either infuse fun into their presentation or spoke of a way of infusing fun. The biggest thing that we've done on campus lately is the Color You Blue run, which was Calgary's first color run, where you basically throw paint at each other along the run. One of the things I really, really, really like about this is that it's not just for the participants running that you're gaining that kind of physical literacy. It's also for those who are volunteering and even throwing paint. It's that activity of just being out there and being active. So if you don't want to run that 5K, you can definitely stand out on the course and still have that same experience and still get active in the fact that they're out there dancing and they're out there having a great time. And I've got a quick video here. If anyone's never seen a color run. They're not going to work now, are you?
It's just going to make it long first.
I forgot to do something first. Amazing. Oh. Doesn't work, don't worry about it, Christine. Appreciate it though. So with the color run, the biggest thing with the color run is that we have so many different people out there experiencing flow. They're out dancing, they're out throwing paint, and if you've ever had a chance to throw paint, it is a good time. Especially if you've got a couple buddies on the course and they're looking down as they come through the paint. And one of the things I experienced when we were out there throwing the paint around and having a good time is that as a volunteer, you're even experiencing that flow. And maybe next year you have that opportunity to go in and do the run or even do a walk through it. It's one of those great, I say, barrier breakers because it just allows you to kind of see it once but still be in that really flow model and enjoy yourself while volunteering. And I think UBC has a couple of those events too. Do we have any UBCs here? The Wall, the...
That's like UBC band, but we...
You guys are UBCO. Yeah. So a few months ago now, we were able to have Dr. Colgate come speak to us about his philosophy of the 3 R's, and we've really kind of looked at this as Mount Royal's way of trying to retain our customers and bring our customers through. So the 3 R's are reliability, responsiveness, and relationship building. And as we talked in our last rec training night with our entire staff, we do a great job of the relationship building. We're fantastic. We've got great rapport. We know our members. We know our regulars by name, and we've got that. But to really drive home the point, we need to be up at the top first and really work on our reliability. And that's just the simple things of being consistent and being accurate and being there kind of presently, and promise made is a promise kept. And that's how we kind of really make sure that we're engaging our customers and then keeping them in. And that is one of the things that we're working on now. And one of the things we've done is model as full-timers is with our name tags and our uniforms. I should have my name tag on right here. And a few of us have kind of got into the habit of keeping each other accountable. And where's your name tag? You're out of the office. Where's your name tag? And making sure that we are being the constant role model for our own staff and making sure that we are reliable to each other. Then we have responsiveness, and it's the willing to get ready and to help in a timely and quick fashion. So if someone comes to the desk, making sure that we are able to kind of answer that question. And if not, being able to follow up and be quick on it. So they're not letting it kind of fall off our plates. And then the relationship building, obviously, is the caring, personalized attention that we do take with each one of our customers. We have so many that it's hard to talk about any of them in particular, but the best thing is with our customers, once you kind of hook them, they keep coming back and they keep coming back, and they tell our friends, and word of mouth is one of those things that's just so fantastic. So this is a little internal piece that we have, and it's kind of our whys and our mission vision kind of wrapped up into a nice little visual for us. But what I really love about Mount Royal and what we do is our motto of we change people's lives. And we had a little story that we made for our last training that went about a fictional story of how we could change so many people's lives, and went through meeting and kind of breaking through the barriers, volunteering and working into our facility, and then starting to take different classes and expand all the way through your program. And I really like the idea that what we do is help change lives, but we do it in so many different ways that we help break down those barriers and get people through into our facility. I love this because it just maps out how we do what we do and just making sure that we're making our customers' days. And this is one of the biggest things that our work culture speaks about, is that we're there for each other, but our biggest thing is we're there for our customers, and that we are making sure that we are giving them that experience and allowing them to have that flow that comes back week after week. So where you go from here, those really don't come up all that nice, but there are a few great links, and I found a bunch more, and there's tons and tons and tons on so many different levels of physical literacy, being active in sport, being active, the brain science and all that. A simple, quick little dive into your university's database will provide so much knowledge and so much information that it's really hard to get down into a 45-minute presentation. So are we having fun yet? Now, this is my favorite picture that my parents sent me when I was putting this presentation. They went back into the archives, and this was one that they pulled out. It's my very, very first game of t-ball, my very, very first at-bat. I played baseball from the time I was 5 years of age until I was 24 at a competitive level, and I love this because I think it was the only time I ever wore shorts on a baseball diamond. So I thought that one was a fantastic photo, but that first hit was what started me having fun, and I've never stopped playing baseball. I still participate in the softball and kind of in the beer leagues now as I'm getting a little bit older, but it all started right here with that first experience of flow and that first time where I really got that feeling that I was lost in a sport. So conclusion, if you're having fun, or if it's fun for you, it's going to be fun for everybody in your program. I really truly believe as a leader or facilitator in a program that you have to be enjoying yourself. You have to enjoy yourself in your whole day-to-day life and into your day-to-day jobs, even when you have to do those desk work or the little administration or documentation or whatever it is. You have to enjoy yourself, and you have to be able to promote your own programs through that way. I think that's it. Do I have any questions? Well, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you sitting here and listening to me.
Well, thank you for that presentation. I know I took a lot out of that. And just on behalf of the organizing committee, we want to give you this gift as a thank you for presenting for
Thank
us.
you so much.
All right. So you guys are welcome to stay for some chat, or you can head on out. We do have presentation evaluation forms